Mic is muted, but not anymore. The mic is not muted anymore. There we go. Happy New Year, mob family. I was gonna say things I was gonna say, but I have an opener today. So where's the opener? A very tall, grown-up opener. There you go. Yeah,
Hello.
there. Yeah. Okay.
Hello, welcome to the first MoB Kaffeeklatsch of the year, episode 134
Right here.
and 2025.
Okay.
And enjoy the show.
Thank you, opener. The opener at this point, I'm gonna have to raise the camera. She keeps getting taller and taller. Hello, everyone. Let me check out the comments. I'm in a different part right now. I'm media assets. Hold on. So if I'm looking across, I have to get the comments in. All right, here we go. Wow, everybody's here. Did I just lose all the comments? Where my comments go? I just had them. I just lost the comments. Oh, there we go. Awesome. All right, here we go. I don't know what happened in that moment, but okay. Let's see if it reloads. Here we go. Hello, Connie. Chris Mendoza, good morning. Let's see who else is here. Richard, good morning. Let's see. I know you can't speak, Richard. You're at the barber shop and you're driving, so please don't speak. Just good morning. Mary Beth, good morning. Let's see. Audrey, good morning. Good morning. Let's just here. Jeanette, early crack of the dawn morning for you, because I know it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. Heather, good morning. Let's see, where are we? I think that's almost everyone. Is that everyone? I think that's everyone. Suma, hello, welcome. Let's see. Carl, good morning. All right. As you guys come in, I will, greet you and say hello and welcome everyone to the MoB Kaffeeklatsch, the first MoB Kaffeeklatsch of the year. Yeah, I know it's 3:30 in the morning or good morning. I'm glad you're feeling good enough to get up at 3:30 in the morning and join us. That's excellent. I'm in a habit of looking, so I gotta get back into the habit of looking this way because the camera's over here now. Used to be up there, and sometimes I look over there to where the comments are, but you guys are over here. So, good morning, Dolly. Dolly's here. She's hanging out. She's doing stuff. She's floating. She's here. Coffee is essential, Jeanette. But if you're part of the MoB, you already know that. So it's really so. How was your New Year? Let's start with that. How was your New Year? Let me know how your New Year was. Our New Year was really quiet. We all greeted the New Year, which is really fun. Everybody was awake for the actual New Year, which is great. It doesn't happen every year. So everybody was up and ready, and we all kind of, yell Happy New Year at each other. So that was fantastic. That was really nice. Anthony, good morning. Welcome. And yesterday we went to a Broadway show, which was fun. As a family, all of us went, so that was really great. We got to go to Manhattan and check out what was it? Hell's Kitchen, which is basically, if you don't know about this play, it's basically an Alicia Keys concert disguised as a Broadway play. So, but it was really good. If you know the music, if you know the songs, even if you didn't know the songs were great, right? Yeah, the singing was fantastic. The songs are great, and it was really kind of an homage to New York City because Alicia Keys is New York City born and bred. So, yeah. Hello, Stick Puppy is coming in. Hello. I'm guessing that Stick Puppy is that Paige because she's using the same wave as Paige. Huh? I don't know. We'll see. It's really good. Oh, I'm sorry to hear you've been sick, Carl. Hope you get better. You couldn't find the live on Facebook? That's weird. It should be there. You're on Facebook, right? Yeah, it's there. Oh, Chris put it up, so it's there. Search, it's there. Yeah, the play itself is really good. It's very urban. It's very I won't say it's modern because the songs are from a way back when Alicia Keys kind of first started, but it seems like her story. So it's really, really well done. Some of the voices were phenomenal. All of them were good because you're on Broadway. You've got to be, you got to be an accomplished singer at least. But some of them, they were like Lady Ursula, who I don't know who it was. Lady Ursula, the piano. Eliza Jane, the woman who plays Eliza Jane. Wow, what a voice! And then even the mom, the woman who plays the mom. I'll call her Jen because that's what she reminded me of. The woman who plays the actress or Broadway actress who plays the main character's mom, incredible voice, and the woman who plays the piano teacher, incredible voice. But they were all fantastic in terms of their ability to sing, incredible. Isn't it usually at Bitten Peaches? No, it's usually it usually is at Bitten Peaches. It should be there on Facebook because that's what it says on StreamYard that it's at Bitten Peaches. You can't really. It's showing on Bitten Peaches, but I think it lets you link in the MoB. Good morning, Laura. Welcome. I'm glad you could make it, Laura. All right, let's get the shout out done. So shout out to everyone on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. I'm seeing a lot of YouTube people. That's fantastic. Welcome. Happy New Year. Don't forget to find us and support us and like and subscribe and hit the notification bell and all that fun stuff on YouTube at Bitten Peaches Publishing. The umbrella channel is at Bitten Peaches Publishing. That's our YouTube channel, and there you will find these episodes and the CWW episodes, which have been paused for a week or so because of the holidays. That's really why I paused them, so we don't have to do them every single day and give people a break. But they'll be starting up again on the 6th, which is Monday. So I'm starting that up again. On Instagram, we're at Bitten Peaches. I haven't done anything on Instagram, but I will be because I have a few things already kind of set up and slotted to be put on Instagram, so I'll be doing that. Peaches has a live notice, which is awesome. Zazzle, M&S, we have swag. So go get the swag on M&S. EMANDES is our swag store location at Zazzle. We have links. We have links for this stuff. Awesome. I'm just going through them quick because last time I was kind of here flying solo, so I was just doing them word of mouth, and I know I have linkability, so yeah, it's happening. On Patreon, first of all, huge shout out to all the patrons. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, supporting me, supporting the book, supporting all that we do. You guys are amazing. Something like that. And there's technical difficulties on the other end. So, these things happen. It's the first of the year, and these we haven't really had this channel without having some kind of technical difficulties, whether it's on the YouTube side, all right, it's fine, or on the Facebook side. All the links to our things are always going to be on the MoB TV. So on the MoB chat, on the MoB on Facebook. So don't worry. And you guys know, those of you who have been here who are regulars know where to find us on YouTube at Bitten Peaches, on Instagram at Bitten Peaches. Zazzle is Zazzle.com. We have a link up at the MoB. Patreon, you guys know we have our Patreon channel. We have our Patreon page. You guys can join us there. And we have a new patron, so we want to give a huge shout out to Maggie, who joined us. And all the links will be posted up after the show in the MoB. So don't feel like you're going to be missing out on anything. Yeah, Facebook is on our end too, is not letting you share the links. So definitely WTF. Welcome, Aaron. Hey, it's your first time. Welcome. You're welcome, and Happy New Year, Aaron. Thanks for joining us. Jeanette says, I have more magnets. I intend to decorate the front of the fridge. That's a good way to decorate the front of your fridge, and the side, and the top if you want to, with M&S magnets. And the magnets, if I do say so myself, are amazing. Every time I go into the M&S store, I want to try and get everything because it's just everything looks amazing. And a huge shout out to our designers, Dolly and T, who are our main M&S designers. Let's see what else we got. Okay. Let's see. I guess we can't really promo. Well, we're gonna promo the new author. The new author that we have to promo today. Let's get that done now. Since we can't share links, but you guys know who this person is A.D. Starling. Do you know what the book is, Chris? Because I don't remember the book off the top of my head. So, but you know what we do? We support our indie authors, right? So A.D. Starling has a new book out, and I don't know if you want to put a magnet on the side of your computer case, Aaron. I don't know if are magnets okay for computer cases these days. I don't know. I'm kind of like so out of date, huh? So Dolly informs me it's 2025. I don't know. When I was coming up, magnets and computers did not mix well. I'm sure things have changed by now. Michelle, you're not late. You're here. That's what matters. You're on time. Welcome and Happy New Year. So yeah, the case of magnets and computers, I don't know, but I think these magnets wouldn't be that detrimental to computers. I haven't tried them, so I don't know. Okay. So AD book is a pre-order. Yeah, so her book is a pre-order for January 25th. AD Starling's book. So the link will be up in the mob after the show. If you're curious and you want to get it, and I strongly suggest that you get it. And there are a few L3s coming up that I'm going to put up in the mob. We posted in the mob. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate the technomancy. I don't know what's going on with Facebook, but at this point, nothing surprises us when it comes to Facebook and kind of weird UI things and changes without letting us know and making life interesting. So we're not phased. We're not phased by this. These things happen. In fact, I was watching yesterday. So I saw this great I want to say great movie, a really interesting movie yesterday called Monkey Man, which starts if you saw Slumdog Millionaire, right? You know the main actor of that movie, Dev Patel, is the main actor of Monkey Man. But the interesting thing about Monkey Man is that he wrote it, directed it, produced it, and starred in it in Monkey Man. And at some point, they were having so many difficulties. Oh, and also he did it during the pandemic. So they were having so many difficulties. They had cameras break. He had to film part of the film itself, part of the movie on his iPhone and on some other camera because the cameras would break, things would happen. They had problems with the bureaucracy. They were all on this island for the duration of the film because they were under quarantine, so they couldn't have people traveling all over the place. So they were locked down as they were filming. I mean, he had everything that could go wrong, did go wrong. And then Netflix dropped the movie after they offered that they were going to put the movie up. So then Jordan Peele picked up the movie, his production company picked up the movie and actually put it in cinemas. And then Netflix picked it up again. And then they dropped it again. And then it ended up on Amazon. It was like everything that could go wrong. And this is his first movie directing. So anything that could go wrong did go wrong. And it just goes to show you that if you persevere, because can you imagine how many times he must have wanted to give up and say, I'm done with this movie. He wrote the story, he wrote the screenplay, he's directing, he's starring, he helped produce it. And even with all of that, he's like, he could have just given up, and he didn't. So, when things are tough and when things don't go your way, persevere, because that's how it gets done. This is especially for all the authors. When you get to that soggy middle, or even not even the soggy middle, sometimes the beginning of the story seems rough and it's uphill the whole way. It feels tough. It feels like, why am I writing this? There's no reason I can't write. This is too much. Someone else can write the story, right? Only you can write the story that you have in your head and within you. No one else can write that story. So no matter what the difficulties or the obstacles or whatever comes and tries to stop you, the resistance, as Steven says, get it done. Do your best to get it done. Let's see. Oh, they're low enough gauze to not to interfere with the metal sides of the cake. Okay, cool. See, that I understood. It's very geeky of me. Okay. Hello, Laura. Welcome. In case I didn't say hello before, I don't remember if I said hello. If I missed anyone, I apologize. Hello, and welcome, and Happy New Year, and good morning from my end. Yeah, I think it's on your end page because it's on FB, right? Yeah, it's on FB, and I have it on StreamYard. It's showing the check mark that it's on FB and on YouTube. So it might be a cache thing on your end. Got it. All right, you're here. Yay. Trisha, you made it. Welcome. Everyone is excellent. At least I can say we're excellent over here. See, one of your goals is to get back. Yes, Jeanette, get back to your writing. It's always good. Of course, I'm very biased, but yes, get back to your writing. Okay, everyone's here. Let me get to some of the updates that we have, because as I'm looking at the time, I don't understand how the time compresses when we start these shows. I really don't get it, because it drags up until 11:30, and then once 11:30 hits, it's like, all right, we're going, and it starts moving really fast. So we got the promos in, we got the announcements in, the update. So Duskblader. Did the patrons get all of Duskblader? Awesome. So you guys already know how the story goes, how it went, how it ended. Obviously, it's it's the first of many stories, because that's how these things work. I was telling my youngest son of the second package here, the warrior. I was like, "Oh, I just finished the story of Duskblader." He goes, "Duskblader, what's that?" "Oh, it's a new series." And he went, "Oh, a new series." He's like, "I know what this is." So yes, Duskblader is a new series, but I'm gonna have DDD add this line to the cover that says "From the world of Montague and Strong," so that people kind of know that it's set in the same world. I think that's a little interesting distinction, because Duskblader, and I should have done that with Stray Dogs, but Duskblader is really kind of a different look into the world of Montague and Strong, but from a whole different angle, a whole different group of people, and it's basically a different facet of the Montague and Strong world. And so I'm going to have that line added to the cover at some point. Yes, you guys are awesome and uncommon. This is very true. And time is an illusion. The first one was awesome. I don't know which one are you referring to, Aaron. Are you referring to Duskblader itself? Because it's not out yet, but if you're a patron, you've read it, or I hope you've had access to it. Yeah, I'll tell you when time is really elastic. It's when your teacher, your sensei says, "Okay, we're gonna do some push-ups. We're only gonna do 5 minutes of push-ups," and you think to yourself, 5 minutes is not very long until you get down into push-up position on the knuckles, and you begin, and then 5 minutes becomes an eternity. Yes. Oh, awesome, Aaron. Because I have to, the list grows, so I have to check for me to know everyone who's a patron, I have to actually check the list. And I'm glad you enjoyed it. Duskblader was really interesting. So right now, Duskblader is in edits, and it'll be coming out soon. This is like really soon TM, because it's finished, it's done, and I just have to go through the edits, and then it'll be released. And since it's only, I want to say it's only an ebook, because it started out as a novella, and I didn't make provisions to make it a print book, but it didn't end up as a novella because it went into 43,000 words when it was supposed to only be 30,000 words, and that's a really good example of a story going viral, right? I could, in theory, make it a print book, because 40-something thousand words ends up being a sizable print book. But right now, it's going to stay as an ebook, and maybe when we'll do like an Iker thing when we add a few books, and we can make it a collection, and then we'll make that a print version. It was an interesting book to write, because it completely dominated my mental space while I was writing Saints and Monks, to such a degree that I had to pause Saints and Monks to get Duskblader just out of my system, because it was just that overpowering. the other thing about Duskblader that I enjoyed personally as a reader slash writer is that Gray is in it. And anytime Gray is in a story, I don't want to say he steals it, but I think he does. But in this one, I tried to have him take less of such a prominent role and more. He was more of a consultant, and I kind of wanted the Duskblader to take the center role, and I think she pulled it off pretty well. But Gray is awesome. What is Duskblader about? Oh, Duskblader! I can't. That would spoil it for those who haven't read it. But the Duskblader is a mage who went through a situation where she was left for dead, had to merge with another creature, and in the process of merging with that creature, which was a nightmare, she ends up being able to wield a dusk blade, and that she becomes a dusk blader. And they're very rare. So yeah. That's okay. Paige, you can catch up. That's the good thing about books, that they're there when you're ready for them. Jeanette says, I'm slowly moving my push-ups downward to working from the floor. Currently, I'm using it. That's great. That's how you do it. There's various ways. You can work it where you start flat on the ground, and then you try to push yourself up, or when you start on an incline, and you slowly increase the incline until you're horizontal. And you can do it that way too. Whatever way, or you can do wall push-ups. You can do knees on the floor push-ups. Many variations of push-ups, like many. So don't worry about getting them like strict military type push-ups. The thing is to move your body and get those muscles active. That's the key. So yes, Paige, that's okay. It'll all be new to you, and then you can let us know how you feel. So that's Duskblader. It's currently in edits, and the edits will be done this weekend, right? Yeah, this weekend. So pretty early next week, we'll have it out. It'll be awesome. You guys can have access to it. Dan, Mr. Awesome, the man. You know what I was watching yesterday, Dan? I watched Monkey Man, which, whoa, if you haven't watched Monkey Man, Dan, the awesome is strong. And I'm watching Walled In, the Twilight of something, that movie that we were discussing. Wow, the fighting in that movie is incredible. So if you haven't watched Walled In, you should definitely watch Walled In, because just for the fight scenes alone, because I needed to watch something to get fight scenes that I'm going to be using in Saints and Monks. Wow, that one completely blew me. I would just stop and kind of stopped at the fight scene, went back, watched the fights again, went back. It was just that good. So go watch Walled In, Twilight something, Twilight of the Warriors or something. I don't know. It's there. Jeanette says, I'm inclining down on toes. Yeah, as you get stronger, you'll be able to go lower and lower. That's, and then you do other stuff like what I do. I take 2 kettlebells and I do what we call kettlebell push-ups, where you go into push-ups and you go all the way and you go past. So you're going like a dip push-up. And those are hard, but they're fun. See, Iris says at 62, my days of being able to push up. Nah, not true. Arthritis does put a crimp in things, but you may not be able to do a push-up in the traditional, what's considered the normal way, the military way, horizontal, but you can do variations. So don't put them past you. Just find a way around it, right? Okay. Does watching a fight in slow motion bother you, since it's clear the actors don't know what to do? That's the thing. You've got to watch movies where the actors know what they're doing, because I've watched movies where the actors had 3 months to train, and you can see the techniques are cringy, right? You're like, oh yeah, this person is not a martial arts. But this movie that I just recently mentioned, and Monkey Man as well, but this movie that I recently mentioned, which is the Walled In one, there are actors in there like Sammo Hung, who came up with Jackie Chan. These are people who are real martial artists who've trained, and it is incredible to watch. And you can tell that it's not. So if you watch enough of these, you can tell when the fight scenes are sped up to make it look more dramatic. This is not sped up. These actors are incredible. If you just want to watch a movie for the fight scenes and the velocity and the fact that they're not, that they're accomplished. They're not trying to. They're doing it really well. It's incredible. So yeah. don't pass on this one. I'll get you the full name, Dan. But yeah, no, Enter the Dragon was excellent. Yeah, it was on live, and you had to. You can't. Enter the Dragon is a must. If it's ever on, it's like everything stops. We're watching Enter the Dragon because it's kind of like what started everything else in the sense for many of us. Bye, Mary Beth. Oh, okay. Definitely hope everything goes well, Mary Beth, and keep us posted. And thanks so much for dropping in and hanging out with us, even if it's only for a little while. Yeah, Aaron, you'll find that a lot of us are on the older side, the less young side. So don't hinder yourself because of your age. We don't subscribe to that kind of being. So just even if you're 62, doesn't matter. You could do it. At least we believe that you can do it. Yeah, the John Wick movies are a good example of that. So I have mixed feelings about John Wick. Clearly, Keanu Reeves is not a martial artist. We know this, right? But the martial art that they used for Keanu in the John Wick movies was basically jiu-jitsu. And not Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but the traditional jiu-jitsu, which is a lot of grabbing and throwing and, stripping of weapons and then shooting. And so he had to learn that. But you could tell if you really look, or if you're a martial artist, you can tell that they're not martial artists in that movie. They're not, because it's just that's not what it's about. Even though the jiu-jitsu is well done, but a lot of the moves that they did in that movie would have gotten you killed in real life because it just takes too long, and it's done for the movie, obviously, right? So John Wick is good for what it is, which is that action. You killed the dog, so now everybody has to die, kind of thing, and the repercussions from that act. But it's not really a martial arts movie. I think John Wick falls more under the action genre, right? But Keanu, to his credit, really puts in the work because he does really well in these movies. And it's a Keanu movie. John Wick, Keanu. This is a movie made for Keanu. He doesn't have to say a lot of things, and it's more emotive. It's what he does, not so much of it. And the movies are gorgeous. The way they look, the cinematography of the movie, fantastic. So there's a lot that goes into the movie, right? And that says my trainer has a client in her 70s. Yeah. When I used to go to the gym locally, like I used to go to the gym, there were a few older, and when I say older, I'm talking 70, 75, some gentlemen who were lifting heavy along with me. Like I was doing powerlifting then. I was lifting heavy, the usual bench, deadlift, squat kind of thing. They were right there lifting heavy for their age, but they were lifting heavy. So don't let the age stop you, Aaron. Chris says, I love Keanu. He carries a coffee making fit. Then he goes motorcycle ride. That is awesome. See? That is a man who has his priorities straight. Yes, Wick is action. So what I'm talking about is more what's considered wuxia, which is the Chinese genre of action movies. It's still action. But most of these people in the Chinese action genre are martial artists and are accomplished martial artists or have many, many years of training and practice behind them. And so when you see these movies, like I'll give you the comparison. Monkey Man was good, but Dev Patel is not a martial artist, but he did good fight scenes. And yes, Dev Patel is a black belt in Taekwondo, so you can see that in his kicks. But when he did the fight scenes, it's very shaky cam, and shaky cam hides a lot of the lack of ability of the actors, right? The Walden, the other martial art, although it has a little bit of the wuxia, which is the wire fu and the kind of unbelievable things, the actual fight scenes when they're close up, like there's this one scene that I haven't seen the entire movie. I only watched like a part of it, but there's this one scene where they're on this narrow gangplank, and one of the characters has a butterfly knife, and the other one is just fighting. And the fight scene, and the choreography of that fight is incredible, and you can tell these people know what they're doing. So it's like that, and you can see it. You can tell. It's evident. It's in the fluidity of the movements, right? Yes, and age is just a number. Trust me. Oh, so I'll give you guys. I'll give you guys a gout update because I've had gout. I've been diagnosed with gout and I have to take care of it. So I'm currently in the what can I eat that will prevent flares, and my knees are much better. So I'm going back to the asymptomatic part of it, like where I don't feel anything, and now I just have to be really careful about what I eat, what how much. I've kind of eliminated sugar, right? I've kind of gotten rid of the sugar, and I'm going low carb to no carb because apparently those are the big culprits. And let's see what else. That's basically it. I'm kind of watching what meats I could eat. What does Chris say? Don't forget the thumbs up. Like, oh, please, yeah, guys on YouTube, don't forget to hit thumbs up, hit the like button, share, the notification bell so you know when our videos are coming up. So in regards to that, and watching what I'm eating and watching my body and watching my health, the exercise, the training had to be on pause because the gout, oh man, I have felt pain before in my life because you train in anything and in life, pain is kind of part of the equation. But the last time that I had it, because Dolly usually says, "Why don't you just go get this checked out already? What are you waiting for, right?" She doesn't say it like that, but that's basically what she's saying. Like, go get it looked at. And usually I'm like, it's not that bad. I can do with it, whatever. I can hobble around and it's okay. This time it was like, I better go get this checked out because the pain was, wow. It was on a scale of 1 to 10, it was like 12. It was really bad, more so than the past. So I had to take a step back, look at what this was, and look at what my body allows me to do, and just basically listening to your body and realizing that I'm not 18 and able to eat rocks if I wanted to, with a little bit of salt. I can't do that anymore. I gotta really watch what I eat. So I'm being careful about that. I'm being careful about the amount of carbs. I'm being careful. The sugar's gone. I'm really taking out sugar because how was it proposed to me? Oh, the pleasure of sugar does not outweigh the lack of pain from gout. Basically, it's like, do you want sugar and enjoy that sugar, taste and then really have fun with that and enjoy that? Or would you like to have some gout pain? And once you think about, I'm going to eat this and then realize later on I might have gout pain, it really crushes the sugar craving. Nah, I don't have a sugar craving. I'm good. No sugar craving. So wait, let me see. Gout is not fun. No, Jeanette, it's one of the worst things you could have. Really, it is. There's a lot that goes into the pain of gout because as I realized what it was, after I knew what it was, and you realize it's not that your legs and muscles and joints don't work, it's that these crystals, the uric acid gets in there and the crystals and the crystals look exactly what they feel like, shards of glass in your joints. That's what it looks like, and that's what it feels like. With heat, like with a blowtorch. So imagine shards of glass in your joints. Every time you try and bend your joints, it feels like shards of glass are doing this, and that someone has a blowtorch under your joint, like under your leg, under your knee. That's basically a quick description of gout. Dan says, one of my favorite fight scenes for me, and I've watched many martial arts, was the final. Blood and Bone is. But Michael J. White is a Kyokushin black belt, so he really is a fighter. Against Matt Mullins, top drawer stuff with Spinning Knots into Dragon. Michael J. White is a Kyokushin karate practitioner, so he really does practice. Yeah. Chris Christmas says, when gout hit me, I was eating meat every day. I think it depends on what meat is the key, Gout feels like a hot knife. Yeah, so it's glass, hot knife stuck in there, and then grinding. It's like, and anytime you try to walk, it's not even walk. You put any pressure on it, it feels like somebody hit your leg in my case, it's your knee, with a baseball bat repeatedly, and then said, there, feel that. So it bothers. You can't even touch it. It's tender too. And basically, I was like, okay, this can't be the norm. And so after a long time, because God has been on me to get this looked at since the first time it happened, and that's a few years. And because it happens in phases, like you get a flare up, you do the flare up, and the flare up goes away. And for me, it would go away for months and months and months, and then another flare up. Heather says, I tried the sugar-free Hershey's and Reese's. The chocolate not so bad. The PB and the peanut butter and the cups tends to taste, yeah, because it's the sugar that really makes it taste good. Unfortunately, we're used to that. And that's the capability versus capacity. It's okay to work to your capacity instead of pushing past that. You don't want to push your body to damage unless it's absolutely necessary and it's a life or death situation. You're trying to save someone's life and you have to. But pushing your body past capacity into damage, you're hurting yourself. So you don't want to do that, you know? And you can push yourself hard. When I was training regularly, you push yourself hard. And I would sometimes train hurt because that's the mentality. You know, I'm not going to let a little pain stop me. That's the mentality. You just have to be aware that sometimes that little pain can be an indicative of something worse or something really serious. So you have to be really careful with that. Like I've lifted, when I was squatting heavy, I've lifted so heavy that I tweaked my back. So instead of doing 5 reps that set, I would do 3 reps. Because on the 3rd rep, my back said no more. And so instead of being hard-headed and say, no, there's 2 more that have to get done, or what, the earth is going to end? I was like, okay, I'm done. I did my 3, I'm done. And then I hobbled off because I knew I had done something to my back that said, this is not going to be good for the next week or so. Same thing with a deadlift. When I was lifting deadlifts heavy, deadlifts are a little easier because with a squat, you've got a lot of weight on your back. There's no way to really escape easy. I mean, you could drop it off. And if you're in a rack, which you should be, it's easy to do. With a deadlift, if you're lifting too heavy, it's really easy to say nope, and you just drop it because that's designed, that exercise isn't easy for that. You have to be really careful for pushing yourself past the point of your capacity, you know? That's what we used to call ego lifts. You don't want to do ego lifts. And I, even now with the kettlebell, so I have 24 kilograms, 36 kilograms, and 48 kilograms. The 48 kilograms, I'm not overhead pressing those or doing anything overly ballistic with those things because 48 kilograms, and I do double kettlebells. So 48 kilograms ends up being like 103 pounds each. I'm not doing anything overly ballistic with it. Those are grindy weights to go really heavy with, like a deadlift or gorilla rows, things like that. 24 kilograms, yeah, it's 54 pounds. I can move those overhead and do other things. So you have to be aware of what you're doing and know what your capacity is and what your capability is. Excuse me. Yeah, we're often our worst enemies in that. Yeah, ego lift. For me, it was ego lifts. You don't want to live with with what you think you can do. You want to live with what you can actually do, and then push it a little bit. Laura says, I have RA rooms. Laura said, yeah, it is. I stopped sugar years ago, but last year I was eating too much cookies. Yeah, the cookies will get you. Stop eating that, and the weight came up. Yeah, well, because what's keeping the weight on usually is the carbs and the sugar. So once you get rid of the sugar, usually the weight comes off. I'm right now, at my sitting weight right now, I was 260 something a few weeks ago. I'm sitting at 256 right now. Just from that slight modification of not eating sugar. That's it. That was it. Because I used to live, I have one here. I used to have Dolly, she would go to Costco and get these big containers of M&Ms. And I'm talking, it's like the industrial size M&Ms, a big container, and I would devour that. And so, yeah, I don't do that anymore. And even in my coffee, there's no sugar. So, Scott says, and welcome, Scott. I didn't see you come in. I'm currently paying for not listening when younger. Yeah, most of us who are here right now are paying that same price. The things that I did when I was younger is like, whoa. I shouldn't be here right now. Some of the things that I did, really, honestly, the fact that I'm here right now talking to you is a miracle in and of itself. Jeanette says the little micro tears are needed. Yes, but that's the thing. Egoing past the micro tears into actual bigger tears can get you hurt, and that's what you want to be aware of. You want to be careful with that. Anthony says 2025 idea: working out with Orlando, new YouTube channel for becoming a ripped off. We will rock you. I actually had an idea like this with someone else for authors, because unfortunately, there's a little PSA. We're gonna step aside for a little while, okay, for a moment now. Unfortunately, many authors are in horrendous physical shape because they've bought into, you have to be a cerebral person, and have neglected the fact that in order for you to write for a long time, you have to be healthy and take care of your body. So I was going to create this little mini plan for authors where they can get one kettlebell, right? And every 20 minutes, you pause, you take a moment, you pause, you do like 10 swings, which is a real easy exercise once you know what you're doing, right? And maybe some squats, some goblet squats every 20 minutes as you're writing. And you can call it like a exercise snack. And then you go back to your writing. And you'd be surprised how healthy you can get just from doing that. Well, that's awesome, Richard. I'm glad you hung out with us. Okay, wait, I gotta get to the question soon. Okay, we're good. All right, let me just do this. Next announcement. Excuse me. Broken Magic, our audiobook number 18 is now available. Yes, Broken Magic is available. So if you enjoy listening to our stories, the Mountain Strong stories on audio, which was just gave me a hint with the podcast, right? Broken Magic is now available on our website, and so go there and you can get it. We don't have a link, right? Because it doesn't let us link anything. See if it lets us link that at least. It might not. Something might go wrong again. I know a lot of you've been waiting for that audiobook. So Broken Magic is narrated by Kevin Collins, who's a fantastic man who's done all our narration. Is it out? Is it there? I don't know if it's gonna let it. I'm gonna let it go through. Yeah. All right. Well, you know where to find it. It'll be on the website. Yeah, just go to our website. You can find it there. Let's see. I had to set an alarm to remind to get. Yeah, you have to. So what I've done now is every 20 minutes I'm trying to do this and be really, because I work out in the morning, but I haven't since this knee gout thing. But I'm gonna try and set an alarm for every 20 to 30 minutes. Get up and move for 5 minutes. So 20 minutes writing, 5 minutes, and take a pause, 5 minutes moving, back to 20 minutes writing, and you do it in that kind of cycle. And it's really good for your body because listen, you can get. I've done it. I can sit 6, 7 hours, 8 hours, and just write. Spend the day writing and not get up all day, which is horrible for your body. You don't want to. You want to move. You want to get up. You want to move. Move the joints, get the blood flowing, things like that. So just get up, do a few swings, sit down, back to writing. Get up, do a few swings, some squats, go back to writing. It doesn't have to be something. You're not talking about spending an hour at a gym. Just 5 minutes. Really, 5 minutes. You can do a lot in 5 minutes. And it's good for you. Let's see. Yes, listen to it later today. I know you're not going to wait for audible, so you just pick it up and grab it. And I want to listen to it because, I want to listen to all of them. Great stories, yeah. Yeah, no, really, Paige, as we get less young, you need to keep we forget, because our lives have shifted so much, we forget that we need to move. Our bodies need movement. Our bodies need to move. And so, I remember when I used to go to the park in the morning, I'd see all the old ladies together, the Tai Chi crew, I used to call them, because they would just be there in the morning. And it didn't matter what time of the year. I used to go in the winter, all year round, and they're doing their slaps and they're doing their thing. And then they get warmed up, and then they would do the Tai Chi for about a good 30 minutes. And these are not young women. These were grandmoms and like really older women, but they weren't doing crazy ballistic movements, but they were moving. They were getting their body, the blood flowing. That's really key. You just want to get that blood flowing, want to get your body moving. That's what matters. Sit stands are my go-to. Yeah, and I'm learning the 8 bouquets of helping my breathing. That's good. And the sit stands are really important because people don't realize that squats are an important thing. Every time you sit down and every time you stand up, you are doing a variation of a squat. So if you can't sit down and stand up on your own, unassisted, you're going to have trouble getting out of chairs. As you get older, that's going to be an issue. So you want to think about that, you know. And breathing, breath is life, right? Like meat is life, breath is life, breathing is life. You have to learn and know how to breathe. It could literally alter your brain chemistry and it could change your body. And that's so key. So breathing is really, really, really important. Yeah, 3-step yoga, deep breathing. Yeah, it's really important. It's that important. If you don't think breathing is important, hold your breath and see how long you can hold it. Because you need to breathe. You need to breathe well. And most people breathe. What was a study that I read recently? Most people breathe too shallowly. So they're breathing to the top part of their lungs, but they're not breathing deep with their diaphragm. So they're not getting enough oxygen into their body or enough oxygen into their blood. So imagine if you have poorly oxygenated blood, and that blood is that low oxygenated blood is getting into your entire body, into your brain, everywhere. When you breathe deeply and you really oxygenate your blood, it changes and transforms your body. So it's really important. You want to take deep breaths from your diaphragm. It's almost like you have to relearn how to breathe. But if you look at babies and children, really young children, they breathe properly. Every time they take a breath, their belly goes out. And every time they exhale, their belly comes in. That's how you want to breathe. And then you tell most people to take a deep breath, and you'll see this, right? Because that's how people are taught afterwards. It becomes shallow. But that's not the proper way to take a deep breath. Yeah. Let's see. My only question for today, Dan says, I know 2025 is the year of the snake, but will it be the year of silk? Let's see what happens, Dan. I think it might be. And no, I'm not letting it go. That's Elsa's job. My job is leading the silk syndicate. Never let that go, Dan. It might be this year. It might be, yes. Because I have a commitment to the clandestine adventures of the 10 this year. And silk is involved there somewhere. So, yes, I have to make a commitment there. So I think silk might make an appearance in 2025. Yeah, Chris, most breathe shallow. This is when I go out, I go weighted or come home that way and remind I need to move more. Yeah, you have to move yourself as much as you can. You know, it's feasible, whatever is feasible, you need to move yourself. Aaron says I had a gastric bypass in 2012. Then in 2013, had my left hydrocele block. Wow. And the crap urologist I saw told me it was just fluid. Ooh, and now you can live with it. 3 months later, it blew up to the size. I blew up to the size of a honeydew. That's big. I left me immobile for the next 28 months. Wow, I'm so sorry to hear that. Put back all the weight, yeah, of course, because your body's just gonna go back to what it was. I found a different urologist who took one look at me and said, we can fix it in 6 weeks. And 6 weeks later, I was in the Westport Hospital, 2016. I was at 558. And now you're down to 408. That is immense, man. That's fantastic. Keep going, because that's a lot of weight to lose. I guess, that's a lot. So keep going. Yes, please, stick with it. And, it's a matter of, and I'm glad you survived. That's really the key. I'm glad you made it through that, because, wow, that is no joke. And you were in serious danger there for a moment. That's major. Bronchiostasis means I really need to work on it. Yes, you have to, especially, yeah. Bronchiostasis, I want to see if I'm saying that right. It means anything with your bronchioles and something that might limit your breathing means that you need to be very focused on something that we take for granted, which is taking a breath, right? And most people take the natural functions of our body for granted. Like, I'll give you an example. Like me with my gout knee. Walking is a very normal thing. You don't really think about it until you can't. Until every step feels like someone is shoving an ice pick into your knee. And again, adding a blowtorch at the same time. Then you realize, wow, walking is a really complicated maneuver that my body manages to pull off, shifting my weight from one side to the other in a controlled fall, right? As I'm placing a step or a leg forward. It's a really complicated maneuver. But you don't think about it because it comes so naturally and you're so used to it. Same thing with your breath, with your breathing. until you can't do it properly, like people, I've met people with COPD, and they tell me what it feels like, and it feels like you're slowly drowning, and it's tragic. But until you can't do it properly, you take it for granted because you're breathing right now, right? Like, it's like no big deal, but it's a huge deal, the process of being able to breathe. And so you really want to focus and breathe well. Okay, let me get to the questions. Wow, I'm really enjoying this. Is our first Kaffeeklatsch of the year. It's become like a medical Kaffeeklatsch today. Yeah, today's very medical. Your lungs are a muscle. Your heart is a muscle. Remember that. Your heart is a muscle and needs to be trained. Okay, that's really important. You can train them to work better. Yeah, there are people, those free divers who hold their breath for 5 minutes. I want you to take a timer on your phone or wherever and hold your breath for 5 minutes and let me know how successful you are. Yeah, so that's. I just want to just be really careful in that and be focused on that. Okay, let me get to the questions because if not, we're not going to get to the questions today. If I can, usually I do this at the beginning, but I got so caught up in getting everything started that, this was bypassed. All right, let me see if I can get to the questions here. Wait, what's happening? Looks like it's really slow today. So yeah, Jeanette, that just means you have to be really careful about what you do and listen to your body. Yeah, it always wanders into crazy, amazing discussions. All right, let's see. I'm getting to the questions. Give me a moment. I'm getting there. Facebook is acting funky today because when is it not? Oh, also, is that Jonathan came up on my. Jonathan Yanez recently, I think he's done another movie. I'm not sure. I think he's doing the process of it. I think it's going to become available soon. So, huge shout out to Jonathan. I'm just going to go to the mob here. I'm going to put it here because this is taking forever. Wow. By the time it opens here, I'll have it open over here. Yeah, these sometimes you know what it is? They just oh yes. Sometimes it's just I don't know what it is. Let me see more. Get into the questions, guys. Give me a moment. Get it slowly but surely. Think back to the days when everything was a Pentium. Fast things were. I don't think it's public yet. No, Forsaken Mercenary. I know he's working on it, and I know he had recently had a kind of like a preview. But I'm really, really proud of him and supportive of what he's taking on. And he's doing it, which is awesome, and it's fantastic. And I try to promote him as much as we can because it's again what he's doing is not easy, and it takes work. It's like that Dev Patel comment I was saying earlier. Dev was director, the writer, and the star and producer, and you have to sometimes just do it by force of will. It's amazing. And we're glad to have you, Jeanette, which is awesome. Even at 3:30 in the morning when you need massive doses of coffee. Oh, and coffee, just in case you didn't know, if you suffer from anything like gout or related, coffee is really good for gout, as long as you don't load it up with sugar. It's supposed to be really good for you. So, it's a good thing I like coffee. It's because Facebook is acting funky. That's why it's doing all that stuff. Let's see if it even gives me the questions. Aaron, that is such a great question. Love to have M&S as a live action or an anime. Amazon, Netflix, if you're listening, let's have the conversation. I think it would make a great anime. I know a lot of people who are saying it should be an anime. I'm open to the conversation to see how it would go. I think it would be a fantastic anime. I think it lends itself to an anime. All right, we have questions, and I am here at the question area, finally. Yeah, turmeric is also very good. Oh, and sweet tart cherry extract, I hear, is excellent for inflammation. Yes, coffee, saving lives. One cup at a time. I think we can make a commercial. We have Monty and Simon, right? And Monty could be like, hurt, and Simon walks in with his little flask, and then holds up a coffee cup, goes coffee, saving lives, one cup at a time. I think that would be great. I would be in the anime camp too. Live action is just so hard, and the magic that you're going to have to display and show and express lends itself to anime much more so than live action. Although that's also the expense, right? Because if you're gonna do live action, it's gonna cost a lot more to show all that magic. Whereas in anime, you're animating it, which is cheaper. So there's also the expense. And plus, you can do one book could be a whole season, and we have 25 books. So imagine, it'd be awesome. All right, Audrey, the question queen asks, because she's keeping that streak going. Orlando, what is your favorite holiday comfort food when you were a child that you still love today? Oh, jeez. I don't really do holiday foods that much, but I would say anything like meat related, like big meat related. So like turkey or big roast chicken, but it has to be like kind of like for the holiday. So, and I still enjoy it today. Although now my diet has changed because I have to watch some of the things that I eat, but I can still enjoy a lot of stuff. So that's great. Yeah. Dolly, ready? What are your best and worst family holiday traditions? I don't think we have any worst, but go ahead.
Best would be Thanksgiving, where everybody cooks a dish.
Everybody in the family, you want to clarify that?
Something, and worse, we don't have one. It's bad.
Yeah, exactly. That's the best one is everybody in the family gets together and makes their favorite dish, and then we all get together. Orlando, what do you consider? Great questions, by the way. Orlando, what do you consider to be the best part of being a writer? Okay, the best part is also the hardest part, which is that you have to be inside your head a lot. You're alone a lot, basically. Writers are lonely people most of the time because you can't do what you do well with other people. It's not. Yes, there's collaborative writing, of course, right? But a writer, at the end of the day or in the middle of the project, is alone with the ideas in their head, which is amazing if you're okay being in them, right? But a lot of people aren't okay being inside their heads, and so I don't recommend writing if you're not okay with that, because you spend a lot of time alone with yourself, and so you have to kind of be okay being with yourself. So that's the best part of it, that you're in this world that you've created, and it becomes real. It's a real world. My long-standing position on writers is that we're only a bad day away from being insane, like from going insane completely, because we're so used to living inside our heads and in our minds that we're already 3/4 of the way there, right? So you live inside your head a lot, and that's good, but it's also bad if you don't know how to step out of there. You can't stay in there all the time. You got to get out of your head. You got to interact with the reality out here. Notice I say the reality out here, because the reality in your head for most of us is just as real, if not sometimes more real, than the reality that we exist in out here. So I was having this conversation with someone not too long ago about where do you go when you sleep, when you dream. Is that reality any less real? So like you could be living two realities. You could be living the reality when you're awake and the reality when you're asleep. Is either one of those less real? Maybe to your brain it isn't. And so it's the same thing for a writer, except that we do that other living while we're awake and then we document it. So basically we're just writing down the other reality. And it can get really twisted in there. You know, it can be very much like an MC Escher painting, and the stairs go up and then twist this way and then that way, and it's bent. So you can see what I'm saying about it can get complex. But that's the best part of being a writer, that you get to create these worlds and you get to step into these worlds, you get to live in these worlds and be with these characters and experience all of that. And not only that, as the writer, you are God. You have the power to do whatever you want in this world and have them do whatever they want. Although most of my characters fight me and everything, but you have the power to influence that world completely in the ways that you may not be able to influence the world that you're in here, right? That you're out here with. So there's a lot to being the best part, but it's also, again, a double-edged sword. So you just have to be careful with that. But yeah, if you're gonna be a writer, most people are attracted to writing because they can bring worlds to life. You can create worlds. And who's to say that the worlds aren't as real as the world that you're in right now? Think about, here's an idea that I want you to consider, a thought experiment that I want you to consider. George Lucas, when he first started Star Wars, it was just an idea in his head, right? But here we are, I don't know, 40 years later, 45 years later, Star Wars is everywhere. Tell me there's somewhere on this planet that people, maybe in the deepest parts of the Amazon, that people don't know about Star Wars. Star Wars is part of our society, in the mythos of our culture. And this came from someone's head. And there are countless examples of that. So isn't it just as real as the reality that we're in? You tell me. All right. Great question, Audrey. Excellent. All right. Chris Christmas says, did you or Dolly choose your kids' names? My wife would not let me name my two kids, Christopher and Christine. Yeah, because it's so original. Two more CCs for sure. Let's see. So for I have one son that's my namesake, and I chose the other names too. So I chose the first set's kids, all their names. For this set here, my second part, the younger tribe, we both chose Ray's name, right? Yeah, we both chose Ray's name. I had a big hand in the first Valkyrie's name, although she edited it and chose her own name after a while. And then in the youngest, that was in Z's name, that was Dolly. Dolly picked that name. So yeah, it was a joint venture, but no more namesakes. So there was only one. There's no more namesakes. That's it. All right, let me read some of the comments. The questions are done, so that's awesome. We got like 5 minutes. If you have a question, this is the time to ask it. Let me see the comments. Monty's the tea person. Yeah, Christmas Pavlova. Oh, nice. I cannot write if my wife is in the room or anyone in the room. I can, but I write with music. So the music is the buffer between me and the world. The music acts like a wall, and it's a wall. It's like if I'm writing, you got to actually physically interrupt me to get my attention because I'm writing. So the music is my buffer, you know. It's good that you like you. Yes. Michelle says, ask how old were your kids when you started writing full time? Nights. When did I start writing full time? 2017. So the younger group they were babies when we started full time. The older group were in their teens, so young, because now they're all adults. The older group, like the eldest is 32, and the other ones are mid to late 20s, and they were all teenagers. And the youngest group, Z wasn't even here when I started, right? Oh, full time. So Z was tiny. Yeah, so they were all tiny. like under, not even teens yet, the younger group. All right, let's see. I hope that answers your question, Michelle. So Henderson says, I usually have my fur child with me, but a quiet cafe will too. I've been able to write, I used to write in Starbucks, but again, Starbucks, headphones, white noise, no problem. Easy that way. Jeanette says, Matrix invades, are we real or are we just someone else's game? That's a very deep existential question. And yes, it's a good one. That's a great thought experiment to have. It gets great ideas flowing. Aaron says, I wrote D&D Adventures for 40 years plus. Yeah, D&D is such a great foundation for writing. Do the maps. Yep, I did the maps and the dungeons, all of that. Populated the world, of course, because how are you going to create a map without the world and the people that are in it? And for all intents and purposes, I created your stories. Yes, those basically were stories. You could have you could have taken that, extrapolated, removed all the other stuff, and written a book, and it would have been a D&D story. And it's a real simple transition to that, you know? Let's see. Do you ever talk out loud when you're writing? I don't talk out loud when I'm writing, but I act out. I do martial arts. I do fight scenes out loud, or I'll do motions like a stabbing motion or a slashing motion, or how someone would block something. Yeah, I do that when I'm writing. Dottie has seen me sometimes. She's like, "What are you doing?" So, Jeanette says the main campaign I played for many years has a Bible of Adventures. Yes, each session was titled. And I had a DM who used to do that. It was a tome of stories. And our party often only saw part of what was happening as our DM ran the background world, allowing us to only see bits of the larger actions happening in the mobile. Yeah, and that's how a lot of stories are in terms of D&D. And that's how a novel is. The writers could tell you, the writers in the mob could tell you how much research goes into writing a story and how much of that research actually makes it into the story. It's not much. It's a very small percentage. But there's a lot of research that goes into it. And there's a lot that gets into the story that you're not aware is part of the research, which is amazing because it's just giving you some homework, but it's fun. Aaron asked me, what do you listen to when writing? I usually have a mix between Moody Blues, Jim Croce, ZZ Top, Sting, and the Blues. They're all great. I like the Moody Blues. I grew up with all that music. I listen, and this is a very particular thing, I listen to vocal trance when I write because for some reason, it's the music that shuts up my sensor. I don't know if my sensor is stuck in a 90s or 80s rave somewhere, and that's the music that gets the sensor going, so it's distracted, and I can write in relative peace and quiet. Because for me, when my sensor is quiet, I'm not questioning things. I'm not trying to change things as I'm writing. It's just basically write the story, and my sensor's in the back raving out to the vocal trance. That might be what's happening. I don't know, but that's the music that I use when I write. Yeah. Every so often, if I have a really involved, complicated fight scene, I'll listen to epic music like Viking music, or it's this kind of music where it's like, you know, there's a battle going on. Sometimes I'll listen to that, but that's only for a specific fight scene. Yeah. Bach, Mozart's really good. Yeah, I like listening to them anyway. Bach and Mozart and Beethoven. Heather says I have like a list of music for one writing influence later by yes. Welcome, Rebecca. Rebecca came in. Hello, Rebecca. If the music has words, I end up singing along. Yeah, the thing about vocal trance is that there's always words, but it's always melodic, and it's kind of not even words. Like even the words are part of the music, and so it all blends into just sound. And I don't ever sing along with the music because the music is just interacting. I got to do a study on this at some point because the music is entertaining another part of my brain, and it's allowing me to write, which is awesome. Michelle, thank you so much for being with us, hanging out. Go do the golf lessons. It sounds like a lot of fun. Juno Reactors does some great vocal trance. Yes, it does. Okay, so geez, we're almost done. Jeanette says I'm being introduced to new music that's Swedish German metal, like Highland. Oh yes, I've heard of this. I can't listen to metal when I write. It's too loud. It's like, not that the music itself is too loud. It has really quick crescendos that throw me, and so I can't listen to that. So great music, I just can't listen to what I'm writing. It's just, it's a shame, but it's the way the brain works. I got to work with what works. All right, it's time for sure. All right, guys, listen. Where's my closer? Z. The closer's coming. Hold on. I can't close today because she's here and she's got to close. We're ending. Go for it.
Thank you for coming to MoB Kaffeeklatsch, episode 134. Happy New Year and have a great weekend.
Awesome. Fantastic closing. Thank you. It's almost like you're getting good at this. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. This is our first episode, and it was an awesome episode. And I don't know where the time went. Literally, I blinked. It was 11:30 a moment ago, and now it's 12:45. I don't understand how this happens. It happens every time. Maybe we should study Kaffeeklatsch time flows because it's crazy. So the 3 Bs, and it's really important for this whole year and for your life. Be kind, right? Be unstoppable. Don't let anything or anyone stop you. And be uncommon. Be completely and uniquely yourself. So have a great, great weekend. Enjoy yourself. Stay warm if you're in a cold climate. Stay cool if you're in a warm climate. Watch your body. Hydrate, which is really important. That's another thing about gout you got to do a lot is drink a lot of water. And quantum clutch, yeah, it's going to become the MoB Cafe Quantum Clutch. Is basically what we're doing. Have a great, great rest of your day and the rest of your weekend. Do we want to do the close? It's got to close. We got to close 1 through 7 people. Come on, there's 15 of us. Let's do it really fast. 1 through 7. First 10 people. As we do this, let's go. Give me a number 1 through 7, everyone. Go quick, so we can end. It's already 12:45. So Dan says, as people are typing in numbers, and say, thank you, MoB, for awesome for us to get together every year. MoB, check out the film Fight for Flight with Josh. Oh, Josh Hartnett is doing something new. Excellent. Daily dose of insanity. And thank you, Calligroman. So that's a good one. So there, Orlando. Oh yeah, I hope we can all have this forever. This little corner of our world, the MoB space is a fantastic place for all of us. All right, what are the numbers? I see 7. I see 7, 5, 3, 7. Oh, I have 7, 1. Yeah. All right, let's do 7. Okay, guys, I'm gonna take off my face from here. Put on Peach's lovely face, and then we'll put the music right now. All right, here we go.